Anthony, back to training here at Park Hall. Let's look back though, shall we, at the previous season. Won the league, the Welsh Cup, best European campaign ever for the New Saints. What are your overall thoughts as you cast your eye back over the previous campaign?
Yeah, I mean, overall, we were pleased with what we achieved. We set targets come the start of the season, and one of them was very clear that we needed to win the league back, having not won the league for the last two seasons. I'd said repeatedly that was so important for us to do that, and that was our number one target and our main target. And the second one was that we wanted to improve on Europe, so improve on where the team had done the season before, or how well they'd done the season before. We felt like we ticked that box as well, and sort of get back to being a dominating team in the Welsh Premier League. And I felt like we did that by getting to 80 points, the second highest points total that any TNS team had got to, and also by winning the league early. So yeah, we felt like we had a good season. You don't have too much time to reflect on it, I must say, when it's during the season, because it's so busy. You're on to the next target. Obviously we had, like you say there, the Welsh Cup come the end of the season, so that was a big focus for us, and really planning and getting ready for Europe even during that time with pre-season training, pre-season fixtures, how we're going to play, what players we're going to add recruitment-wise, which ones we're going to keep, etc. So it feels like a very busy time, Rev, that we haven't had much time to sort of take stock and think about what we've done, but credit to the players, credit to the staff, and I think they had deservedly a really positive season.
As an individual, you are very professional, you are very focused, you are very driven. How do you get the balance between being happy with the season that we've just had, but then also as you begin to analyse and break down some of those individual games, do you focus on the fact that we lost twice in the league? How much does that bother you personally? How much does it bother you that we didn't perhaps do the treble? We didn't go an extra round in Europe. How do you get that balance as an individual?
Yeah, I'm not, probably as an individual is a bad question to ask, because I'm not sure we do get the balance. I think myself and the staff, I must say, Chris Sargent, Tom, Phil, Connor, Cy Spender, Cy Smith, I think we're all very similar in terms of we have high standards, we want to improve all the time, and we do think about, obviously, like Europe, the Victoria Pilsen game, we were leading quite well at home and then conceded those two late goals, which then led to obviously them pegging us back in Europe in the second leg and us ultimately being knocked out on a penalty shootout. You do think about those, but you more think about not so much about the losses, but about what you could have done better, how you could improve. And I think as long as you're doing that, then that's the right mentality to have. And I've found out that's worked for myself personally and for the team so far this season. So yeah, you always look at the bits, but then also I think you think about, you look at the positives, because I think that can help you push forward as well. I think a lot of the time people say, oh, you learn more from the defeats, but you also learn a lot from the wins, I think, too, and you work out what is going well with the team, how you can improve, the things that are still going well, not just the things that you might need improvements on. So yeah, probably getting the balance individually, I'd say not that well, but for the team I think we tend to try and get the right balance. I think if there was ever an issue here with the players not working hard, not being committed, not being or sacrificing themselves for the team, then we'd have an issue, and that would be a real problem. But that's never been the case since I've been here. The attitude of the players has been fantastic in what was a long season. I mean, we had 2 weeks off in the off season. I've said before, Europe, we got knocked out, got straight back into the league. It was a long season last year in terms of time and the amount of games that there were with Europe and the cups and whatnot. So yeah, I think if there was ever an issue there, you would have a problem, but we haven't so far, and the players have been very professional, so they make our job a lot easier.
The last interview we did, of course, was at Cardiff City Stadium. We'd beat Penabont to lift the Welsh Cup. Here we are a month later. What have you been up to in those 30 plus days? Yeah,
well, it's been nice to have a little break, get back with the family, myself, and I'm sure a lot of the players and the staff. We've all been able to get away and go on holiday. It was, for me personally, the first time we've been able to take our son away. He's two and a little bit now. And so it was the first time we were able to take him on holiday. So that was really nice. I think the family time is important, and to switch off. And just even looking back at this week since we've started pre-season training, you see a bit of a freshness in the players, a freshness in the staff. And I think just mentally getting away from the hustle and bustle of the day-to-day work. I mean, we are full-time, we train every day, we have certain days off in the week, but there's a lot of time spent together, a lot of time at the training ground. So I think that mental break is almost more important than what the physical one is. So we feel good and refreshed and ready to go this week, and training's been excellent so far, and I think that's because we were able to have that break, so that is important.
and we will have a number of pre-season games. Some of them have been announced already, others will be published in due course. How important are they in terms of the preparation, which, when the rubber hits the road, will be European competition in July?
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, one thing I'd say, it's very difficult to get pre-season friendlies this early. So there's a lot of teams that we would play us under-23s teams, really high-profile first teams that we've got good links with, but they're not starting pre-season until July, which is when our first games are on. We obviously have May off and start in June. So our pre-season is earlier than most teams. Unless you're in Europe, everybody's finishing their season now and then going on holiday. So we would like to play a lot of different teams. We've got 2 Welsh Premier League teams in that fixture list. I'm not sure if that's been announced yet, so I should probably check that first. But they're the ones that are in training and available to play. So we'd love to play some other teams and a variation of teams, which we try to do as best we can, but a lot of teams aren't training until July. So it is difficult to get the fixtures. However, I feel like this year we've got a better build-up of fixtures. I feel like we've got a better variation. I think it'll prepare us even better this season for Europe with the fixtures that we've got.
It was a successful season for the New Saints. Couple of trophies on board. You got a personal one as well, the JD Cymru Premier Manager of the season. Did that come as a surprise to you, or were you half expecting it based on what the team had achieved?
Yeah, do you know what? You don't really think about that, really. I think the most important thing was winning the league for the club, for the people who've supported me a lot here, for the staff and for the players. I think to get that over the line and win that was the most important thing. I think those individual awards, albeit are good, and you feel grateful and happy that you do achieve them. And I think if you ask players the same thing, that the awards are great. But if the team don't do well, you don't win any of those awards. If the staff aren't putting in the hard work, the hours, the work that you want, then you don't get those awards. So I think that's important to recognise and do it. If your team are doing well, then it puts you in the position to win them. But it's very much a team effort here. I've said it before. I think one year, there was a Manager a Month award, and we made sure we had the photo with everyone in that, from the cleaners to the kitchen staff who make our food every day for lunch, to the media guys, to all the coaching staff, because I think everyone has that big team effort, because one without the other, you can't win, and you really can't. So I'm the fortunate one who's at the front, I think, getting the being able to talk in front of the cameras and etc. to the media, but it really is, there's a lot of work and a hard work that goes behind the scenes, and I think that must be recognised more than the rewards, if that makes sense.
And back to the football, we will of course be playing European competition in due course. As the teams start to filter through in terms of our opposition, are you giving it any thought at this stage as to what teams you would like to draw?
Yeah, I mean, we have, with our staff, we do a lot of research, we do a lot of video analysis work. We've got an excellent video analysis person or staff member in Connor. He does a lot of that type of work for us and gets prepared in terms of stats, in terms of the teams that we could be facing and could be playing. Chris Sargent does a lot of opposition analysis as well, so he's on board with that with Connor at the moment. But for myself personally, I like to concentrate on what we're doing now. I think you could spend too much time worrying about those things, but we make sure the right people are on that at the right time. Obviously the draw is, I think, the 14th and the 15th of this month, so we'll be looking forward to seeing what that is. I remember from last year, my first European experience, it was really exciting to see who you're drawing and the way the draw was made. I thought it was an excellent way of doing it. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. Can't wait, but we don't try and not look too far ahead and make sure we're planned, prepared and ready with the team and the squad that we've got moving forward.
And as with last season, the squad will be going away as well for a camp. Again, how important is that in terms of the preparation?
Yeah, I think it's vitally important. This season we're going to Portugal. It's going to be a hard working camp. We'll be training 3 times a day during that process, and it will be difficult for the players in terms of their training load and the intensity and the work that we're going to be doing. However, I think when you're sort of living and staying with people and having 3-4 meals together a day, I think it's a good time for, firstly, some of the new players to bond together. I think socially really important, and to get together and build that team spirit, but then also for the younger players as well to come along. We'll take a few young players on this to make sure the numbers are good on the trip, and that's really important. There's almost like a development squad that we've got coming in this season who are first-year pros who have been training separately to the first team, but 2 or 3 of them have been dripping in and out every day. And for some of them to get the opportunity to come away with first-team players like, for example, Chris Marriott or John Routledge, who are speaking to them I think they've had their 14th and 15th pre-season in their careers. So unbelievable experience, unbelievable players to maintain that level for so many years, and obviously won so much here at TNS. So those younger players to work with players like them, or maybe like a Deck McManus or someone who's played in a different level in Scotland and done so well last season, to be able to learn off them and live with them and see them every day work and operate, I think is valuable lessons for them, not just for the other players to gel and get together.
And what the fans want to know, of course, new signings. Nothing has been announced as of yet. How are the plans going in terms of bringing players in, fresh blood to Park Hall?
Yeah, we've been working hard on that behind the scenes. That's another joint effort with a lot of people involved in that process. Timing-wise is key and important as well. It's difficult in terms of a lot of players have just finished, a lot of players are just deciding about their futures now as well, but obviously with us starting so early, we want to get those players in as quick as we can, prepared for Europe. But like I said, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. We know we need to add quality, and we'll wait for the right time to add the right player, not just footballing wise but character wise as well, which is so important. But then also making sure that we make our starting lineup better, not just the squad better. I think that's really important. We want to challenge those starters to be pushed for their starting spot. I think that's vitally important too, and then therefore that makes everyone climb up and try and maintain those standards. So yeah, we're waiting for the right ones to come in, but we will be making signings this season before Europe.
And no doubt the players that you're interested in, also other clubs will be as well. How much of a lure is European football when you present the Park Hall case to those individual players?
Yeah, of course it is, and it has been the case with the ones that we signed last year, for example. Declan and Jordan, especially 2 ones that we signed, as well as Ash Baker, telling them about Europe, the experience, and now that I've experienced a little bit myself as well, I think that is a big pull to come to this club. That's why we as coaches and staff want to be here, and a lot of the players do come for Europe. So I think that is definitely a big pull, but I think obviously the good people that work here as well, the project that we've got here, the improvements we want to make, and how we coach and train every day, I think is a real big pull for the players too. So I think couple that together with Europe makes it a good place to be here at TNS as a player who wants to push on and develop their game.
And not just the 3 domestic competitions, of course, Europe as well. We will also be playing in the Scottish Cup as well this coming season. Are you looking at bringing perhaps more players in due to the fact that there are lots of competitions that the team is looking to progress as far as it can in?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily. I think we operated off a small squad last year, I must say, but we had quality in that squad, and the squad wasn't as big, but what that did was that allowed opportunities for younger players from the academy. I'd have to check the statistics, but the amount of, first of all, debuts we gave in Europe, I know there was Bo Cornish, Lewis Rees, I think there was a couple others. Morgan Dakin made his debut there, and then in the league as well, bringing on a lot of scholars. Tom Williams played, I think Lockie played, Nick come on for his debut as well, Woolley made his debut too. So those scholars last year got the opportunities. Those Scottish Cup games as well as the league games as well, if we're in Europe and doing those things, I think give a showcase for our academy players and the good work that's being done in the academy for them to try and come through and force through and be thrown in and put in the deep end a little bit as well. And sometimes that can surprise some of the players or surprise us with how well the players do in men's football. So we need to add players. We know that to the squad. There's no doubt about that. We need to add quality in there. But first of all, we want to make sure we get the right ones, but then also give the opportunities to our academy players too, which is so important.
And although we will be competing on several fronts, of course, is it true to say that the JD Cymru Premier is the bread and butter, the one that you really want to set your stall out to win?
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think we still got making up to do for the last couple of seasons of not winning the league. It's been 2 seasons. Obviously, Connors Quay won the league for those 2 seasons. I know one was a COVID season. And then obviously that season, they just narrowly won, and deservedly so. If you finish top of the table, doesn't matter by how many points, you deserve to win it. So we, in a way, I feel, are still chasing them, even though Connors Quay finished where they did last season. I think we still not necessarily owe them, but we're still chasing and fighting for that. We won it last year, great. We've moved on from that. Now we want to win it again. And I think if we go in with that mindset and mentality, that will definitely help us to try and achieve that this season.
And last season we amassed 80 points. We had a 21-point gap over Ballatown in second place. Won the league quite early. Did that surprise you?
Do you know what, it was something not to sit on the fence too much with that question, which is a good question, Rebs, but not necessarily. I hadn't really thought about when we would win it, if that makes sense, but we wanted to win it as quickly and as early as we could, I think, when we started to get a decent lead. But it wasn't something we really talked about. We just set the standards out with the team in terms of how we play, how we train, the plan, do and review model of if we play well, what did we do well, how can we make it better? If we didn't needed improvements, how can we make them better? And that sort of just ended up rolling into where we were. I mean, it was probably a strange day here, really, when we played Pennybont on that day when the trophy was here. The celebrations were planned. Everybody kept saying we only needed a point, and when we were 2-0 down at half time, it certainly didn't feel like we were 21 points clear at the time. So it was a bit of a strange sort of game that, but we were glad to get back to it and get it back to 3-2 and then 3-3 obviously, but still a little bit disappointed we conceded there. I thought we should have won that game, but yeah, we didn't really think about winning it necessarily too early, but we had a bit of a saying after we did win the league that we wanted to finish strong and we wanted to try and get as many points as we could, and we wanted to do as well as we could in the cup. And the week after we won the trophy here, we played in a really difficult cup game against a good side in the league below us in a really tough test. So we wanted to finish the season strong, not just with the points, but to win that cup final. I'm glad we did, so I felt like we did finish that season strong. But was it a surprise? Not necessarily, but something that we didn't think about too much.
And once we did secure the title, of course, that gave you the opportunity to maybe look at players in different positions, try a few new things out on the pitch. Were you happy overall with the remaining games of the campaign, the way that maybe some of your new approaches went?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can try some new things out, I think, but the important thing for us as well, that we were respectful of the league, that we played the games properly, which we did. Listen, these players here are certainly have a winning mentality and they want to win every game, whether you've won the league, whether you're in front, whether you're behind, it doesn't matter. They want to play and they want to win every game, and that's what we love as staff, and that's the mindset that we set out in training and in games. So although we could try a few new things out, it wasn't just any sort of token gestures for younger players to play. The younger players played because they deserved to play and there were spots available, and we let a couple of extra ones go out on loan in January, knowing that there could be opportunities for younger players to come in and play, and that's what we did. We could have gone and added other players, but we didn't. We only made one signing in January because the correct players and the right ones weren't available. So that showed that the opportunity was there for the younger players, and that after you'd won the league just gave us the time to be able to do that. So yeah, those players played because they deserved to play regardless of the situation in the league.
Perhaps the only fly in the ointment as you look back over the season could be the number of goals conceded. Connors Quay had the best defence by far. TNS quite good compared to the other sides. As you look at that particular statistic, does that bring any concern for you, or perhaps plans for this coming season to rectify that situation?
Yeah, I mean, look, I feel like if we keep a clean sheet in most games, then we will score. I think there's only been maybe one game in the league this season, or two games, sorry, beg your pardon, where we haven't scored. And I think that's important, that if you get the clean sheet and the basis, then you get the point, don't you, unless you score yourself. So, yeah, although it's an area that we want to improve on, of course, we want to try and upgrade in every department. And a lot of people, I think, when you see those clean sheets, automatically look for the defenders and go, well, why are they not keeping particular clean sheets? But we all attack together, we all defend together. Defenders have to input in the attacking side of the game from set plays and crosses and assists and stuff, but then attackers and midfielders have to defend in the box from corners and set plays too. So it's really a joint effort that we look through constantly during the season, not just at the end of the season, and there's no surprise that we want to keep more clean sheets. You're right with that one. So yeah, we'll be looking to do that next season and trying to set our stall out early, because we feel that if we have a good and strong solid defensive base, then that allows us to attack more and score more goals anyway if we're nice and tight and defending well.
I won't ask you to elaborate, of course, but have you already set down targets that you want to achieve in terms of points secured, goals conceded, goals scored, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we have. We had a meeting on the first day, speaking to the senior players as well beforehand, but having a meeting on the first day sets more so about what our bigger long-term goals are for the whole season, and then setting our standards to work towards those to achieve those goals, which is important. So yeah, we make sure we revisit them during the season and check on them where we are, which we did last season as well, and hopefully we can achieve them this season.
Anthony Limbrick, TNS head coach, thank you for your time as always, and we look forward to many more interviews during the course of this coming season.
Thank you.